Hello everybody, this is Samurai Trev from the Zombie Game. So, here we are with all our characters, well, three of the characters from Timber Peak, and they've been now had their basic coat on. We're now going to use something called a wash. These are from Games Workshop. You see that? Or shade, should I say. Okay, shake that up. Okay. What I do is I tend to just use a paper clip in here, prop open the lid. Okay, put that down there, you don't need to see that. Okay, now I tend to use a smaller brush for this job. This is a detail brush. Okay, just wet that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start adding from the flesh and then work my way outwards. I also paint that way as well. That's one method you can do. So you start from the flesh and then you paint things like t-shirts and vests, and then you go to things like jackets and jeans, and then lastly you finish off with things like shoes and weapons, stuff like that. Anyway, let's get started. So I'll start on her, start painting this onto her hands. The actual colour, you can get a little thicker brush. It's called Reekland Flesh Shade. All these Games Workshop paints have all been renamed. I can't remember what the last name was, last flesh sort of one was called. Very important that you paint right to the edges, because that's where it's going to settle, in the edges, and it settles in any sort of low points on the model. So for example, you've got those fingers, I don't know how well you can see this, it should settle between the different fingers. I'm going to paint this so you can see. Right, in between this arm here, just dropped in there. Can you see how that dark just dropped into that crook in her arm? That's what we want. Just wait a second. There we go. You don't have to be stingy with this stuff. You can really put quite a bit on, or you could go for doing it two thinner coats of it. I tend to just let myself go with this stuff, and sometimes if I'm not happy with the shading, for example, if I think it's not as dark as I want it, then I go ahead and put another coat on. I really want some good shade, so that when you come to doing your highlighting, there'll be a marked difference. She will build up from this shade, and I'm like, wow, that's really good detail on these models, because sometimes you can just drop this wash in and go, wow, because little things you have not seen before, such as in underneath the jawline, the eyes, the mouth, things like that. These can really pop out at you. You can see that very well. But yeah, it's good. You really start to get some idea